This is a WKYT podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations. Andrea, you're gritting your teeth. What's going on over there?
Nothing.
Okay.
A conversation we just had off air that the contents of which will never come out.
Oh, wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
That
Anyway,
sounds serious.
It really wasn't as serious as
No,
I
it
just
really
made it out to
wasn't.
be. I'm very dramatic.
When you think about the problems you and I have, it turns out we don't actually have
Too
that
many.
many problems.
No, we're very
I
fortunate.
think that's one thing about this job is it gives you perspective.
You're another year older now.
I am.
Victor, you had a
Yes.
birthday yesterday, right?
Yeah, I did. One of our producers, Alexis, she said, "You're older than I think you are, so I'm going to say you're 35."
I think,
said, "I'll take it."
but she's right. I think you're older than everyone thinks you are.
It's my youthful exuberance.
It honestly is. I mean, your personality, you're just very youthful and fun, and you're just vivacious.
I just enjoy life, you know.
You do. And I think that's so good. I think we always talk about, like, kid-like qualities, like why kids are so charming. I think you have a little bit of that most people grow out of, and you never did.
It's just being a latchkey kid, just growing up in front of the TV. There you go.
There you go.
That was me. All right.
How old are you?
38.
38.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm going to be the old man at my daughter's graduation, like with a cane.
My dad always said the same thing because both he and my mom were older when they
Yeah.
had my brother and I. So, I think they said our first day of kindergarten, people thought they were our grandparents.
Whenever I'm dropping her off at daycare and I see the other parents, I go, "Oh, y'all are children.
Y'all are young.
Y'all are babies yourself."
Well, you got the salt and pepper going on, which is a good thing.
I do.
But I think it throws people off.
Just keep it short. That's the thing. I don't want to be the old silver fox. So let's talk about today's podcast.
Yes, we
I
finally
really
got
enjoyed
her.
it. Yes, we finally got her. We rounded out the trio of the recent WKYT mothers. Although she didn't really talk about being a mother that much. We'll get her back for podcast part 2.
We talked
Mother
about
talk.
Meg, but we need to at least say she has a
son,
named Kingston. It's not that she didn't want to talk about him or anything, but we kind of talked about, he's in
Talk
that.
about everything.
He's so young
Yeah.
that what is there to talk about? For a while, babies are blobs. That's just the
No,
truth.
I'm with you. As the father of a 10-month-old.
Yours isn't a blob anymore, is it?
No, now she's cute. But yeah, there for a while, it's just like, well, here's this creature I take care of.
Yep. This creature.
So today we talked to Kristen Kennedy about how she got her start in the news, our history. Her and I go way back. We both started WKYT relatively.
See,
same
normally
time.
I dominate conversations, I feel like, but you kind of let this one.
Yeah, well,
you asked more questions than me.
I've known Kristen a while. We're old friends. Mm-hmm. And it was exciting. It was also funny to hear how she intimidated you.
Oh, but I don't know if I said it vehemently enough in the podcast, but I love Kristen. I really do. She's one of my favorite people. So I don't want people to think that I was scared of her and now I'm just like.
No, she's a presence in the newsroom. And
She's awesome.
We are lucky
she's
to have.
awesome.
So here's our conversation, Kristen Kennedy. Hope y'all enjoy it. We are here, the one and only Kristen Kennedy.
Hello.
This has been a long time coming. It was a process.
I know. I got nervous about it. I didn't want to do it, and Victor convinced me with his baking skills.
I know. I was just saying that Kristen did this right. She played the game the smartest. In a game of Survivor, Big Brother, you would win because literally no one else has gotten anything out of this podcast, including me. And
I would say people have lost things because of this podcast, like dignity, self-respect.
I'm the first one who came with a writer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You had a plan, so it worked out for you, and it also just gave me an excuse to bake a bunch of cookies.
They were delicious.
Yeah,
were
they
those the oatmeal ones?
oatmeal cranberry?
They were
Oh,
good.
they were so
Raisins
good.
are garbage. Actually, I like raisins on their own, but I don't like them in cookies. There you go.
Sorry, I have a story I'm working on.
That's all right, yeah.
so-
Well,
Okay.
if something pops up during it, that's the way this works, ladies and gentlemen. So if something pops up during the middle of it, we may just pause and then come back. So I ate about 5 or 6 of those cookies while I was baking them because they were fresh
yes.
and warm.
What about, do you like dough or cookies better?
What do you mean? I'll eat dough all right, but I'd rather have it actually cooked.
See, I could go either way.
Welcome to
Dough
Cookie
is
Cast.
so good. I could talk about food all day long.
I used to bake a lot before kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now things
Cookies, cakes, muffins.
Vera's still small enough that I can just stick her in the
Oven?
bouncy thing. Yes. Yes, there you go. I just stick her in the oven, tell her to hold tight. I'll pop her out when the cookies go in.
But our problem is
Andrea.
Meg will eat all of the cookies, so I have to be very careful about
Meg is an
baking.
eater. Can we talk
She
about that?
loves food.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love her for it.
Andrea relates to her.
So we were at that charity basketball game over the weekend, and one of the other players was just, because we got Fazoli's afterwards, and he was just like, look at that kid. I was like, yeah, that's normal. 'Cause she was going hard, like eating the pasta with her fingers. I was like, yes, my girl. Yes.
She loves to eat.
She knows what she wants.
We are lucky because you hear about toddlers who won't eat a thing.
That's
She
not a
eats
problem.
everything.
Yeah,
She's
she
really good
does.
about that, except for green stuff. She's not a fan of salads or spinach.
Man, who likes that healthy stuff? Yeah.
No.
That's awful. All right. So we generally on these, we'll go back. Yeah, you're fine. Just don't do like Kenny did and beat on the table the whole time.
I got in trouble for that too. It's okay.
So let's go back to the beginning, your origin story. Where'd you grow up?
South Carolina.
Not a Kentucky girl. She's a
No.
convert.
I went to school in North Carolina. My first job was in Texas, and then I was trying to get closer to South Carolina, and Kentucky's actually closer than Texas, so I ended up here.
And that was a long time ago.
It'll be 9 years in June that I've been at KYT.
You and I started relatively
You
close to
were
the same
here
time.
before me because when I went on the interview, I remember meeting you.
Yes. And
I had no idea you guys were here that long. I heard you
Yes.
talking about it the other day, and I was like,
Yeah, we
We're
both
old.
were not married,
Yeah, we were
young.
parties, people hanging out and having fun.
We would go out past like 10 o'clock at night.
What?
It was wild.
I know.
Things were crazy.
I bet. Those were the days.
Yeah, and so I remember you came, and you said that you were trying to get closer to home, and then you've been here ever since.
I know. Well,
But you brought Lee K with you.
yes, and you made a good point on one of the earlier podcasts. You talked about how it seems like people just try and go to the biggest city in their area, their hometown. And Lee K and I are both from small towns, and the markets are significantly smaller than Lexington. So I don't know if we'll ever end up closer to one or the other. But yeah, I did bring him along.
I was gonna
We
say,
were long distance for about a year before he got the job here.
And he's from Texas, right?
He is. We met at the a station in Texas where we both worked, and he moved to Kentucky, and that's the farthest that he's ever been from home. I mean, Texas for him, I think he was a 90-minute drive from
That was my
home
question. How
at
close
his
is he?
other
Wow.
station. Yeah.
So you all met at the station.
We did. Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? How did you two
Well,
end up connecting?
You know, small stations, you all work terrible hours, you have little pay, and your only
just
friends
keep
are
interacting
at
with
the
the same
station.
people, yeah.
Yes,
I
because
guess I should understand that better than anyone.
well, and so we would all go out, and it felt like summer camp a lot of the time because we're all kind of getting our foot in the door, and you're wanting to get to bigger places, and none of us are from that area. You know, it's it was a starter market.
So you don't have a lot of other friends, other people to hang out with. So it's kind
Yeah, and so we all just yes, it was a big group, and I think Lee K and I we went on a lot of big group dates.
And gravitated towards each other.
I say I got stuck with him. He doesn't like that.
Yeah, who was the aggressor? Did you go after him or he came after
He
you?
originally asked me on lots of dates.
Ooh.
But I was dating someone. I was long distance with a college sweetheart. And so I said, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out with the college sweetheart. So I said, I'll give this a try.
Fine.
And I got stuck with them. Tried to move across the country. He
Tried
just
to get away from
followed.
him, and he just came
followed
anyway.
you.
I know. Now we got 2 kids.
So when you first came to Lexington, what was that transition like? I guess how much is Lexington bigger than the other towns you'd lived in?
Yes, it is. Lexington is like the biggest city I've lived in, I guess. And
Which is weird. When you travel some, you realize that Lexington isn't that big of a city. But if you're from a small, especially me coming from Clay City, I remember Lexington was always the big city we'd go to, once a year to go to the mall or something. So it's
And that is funny to me because even on the grand scale of things, Lexington is not that big. So when you look at market sizes, I never thought of Lexington as like, oh, I've made it. I'm in a big city. But it's become I've made it. I'm in a city that's the perfect size. It's got everything. It's got lots of opportunities. It just feels like a really good size. It doesn't intimidate me. A lot of people will talk about like driving through Lexington downtown. They get nervous about it. To me, it's just like
I
normal
feel that way
traffic.
in Louisville.
that's
Do you really?
Yeah,
My-
but I'm easily intimidated.
my mom. Whenever she'll drive to Lexington now, but for the longest time, if she was coming to Lexington, I would have to meet her in Winchester and then drive her on the.
Because she was worried about the
Yeah,
traffic.
The big city. It's scary out there.
Now, was reporting, anchoring something you always wanted to do? Is that what you went to school for?
Yes, I did. went to Elon University. It's a private college, and they were very well known for their communications program. And they had, at the time, it was a live weekly newscast that was student run, and I just loved it. I thought it was great. And I knew I had a scholarship to go to Elon, and I went specifically for communications.
So did that bug bite you in high school? Was that?
Yes, it was probably around 10th grade. I think I made that decision. I thought I wanted to be a pathologist.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that idea of trying to look for root causes of disease. And I just think the body is fascinating and how it works. And I thought that would be neat. And so I have an aunt who is a nurse practitioner, and she worked at the Medical University of South Carolina. So I got to shadow a surgeon for a day. She set that up, and it was the most boring day. We went into a room where they do surgeries, but nothing was going on. I remember they talked a lot about it's just like facts and figures and numbers and just paperwork, and it just seems so boring to me. So I did another shadow day. I thought, well, maybe journalism, maybe writing. And so I went to my hometown station, and I sat in an edit bay with probably the equivalent of the Amber Philpott here. So it was the evening anchor that I grew up watching, and I watched her edit a package. This is really cool. And then I sat in on the noon newscast, and I watched the Barbara Bailey equivalent, and I just remember thinking, this is easy. I can do that. And so I was hooked. It was ease.
It's
That's
so
what it was.
smart that you did that, because I think so many people, don't take that step to go shadow people until they're about to graduate from college.
Yes.
And it's too late. It's like you've already devoted 4 years to getting this education and all of these prerequisites. And then you go and you see it in real life, in person. It's not just theory and not what you thought it was going to be. So that was really smart. I think you made a wise decision there.
I was lucky because I was looking at colleges, and I'm looking at that price tag, and I'm thinking, I better know what I want to do if I'm going to pay that much
So
money.
mature. The maturity. She's the mature one in the mornings.
Yeah.
No
It's
doubt about it.
Thrifty. It's just being thrifty.
Kristen's always been very, very mature, though.
Yes.
I remember being out of like pool parties and stuff, and Kristen just being like, "Okay, everybody, let's just calm down."
Oh, well, the first pool party I went to with Victor, and Victor was really nice because I knew nobody when I came here, and he was so nice and invited me out with his friends and introduced me to everyone, and really just helped me feel like this was home. So he invited me to this pool party, and it was back when we had weekends that we were on call. And I was on call that weekend. And I remember being so nervous because it was my first weekend on call ever. And I'm thinking, I cannot have a drink. I cannot eat a thing. I got to be ready to go.
anything.
I don't even think I wore a bathing suit because I was afraid I was going to have to go into the station.
Aww. And, I know our bosses listen to this, so that's wonderful that you take it that seriously, because most of the time I don't
A lot
even
of
know
people
when I'm
don't.
on call.
Yeah.
And like Angela has emailed me before, and she's like, "Can we switch? Like you're on call." I'm like, "I am? Sure. I don't care." I didn't even know.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm sure it
that you
does.
were not that. All right, that's nice. So now that you've been doing the job, 10 plus years, what are your favorite parts of it? Because you've done everything.
Every
You've
shift.
done every shift. You've done every.
Yeah, the only thing I haven't done, I don't shoot my own stuff. And I feel really fortunate about that. I most enjoy getting out of the newsroom. And every day is different. And I actually really enjoy working with different people. With our photographers, they are all so different, and they are
Very interesting.
Yes, and they all have their own quirks, and it's enjoyable to have someone there to laugh with. Like especially on these really tough stories, just to have someone right beside you experiencing the same things, making sure you're both seeing the same stuff. When I'm writing, I want to double check what I'm doing. I really enjoy working as a team. And I know we don't have that a lot. With one-man bands, you don't get that opportunity.
Having a second set of eyes definitely helps.
It's
Yes.
so important. Oh, I constantly am checking with our photographers. I'm like, is this the right word? Is this what I'm looking
Yes.
for? Have we done everything we need to do? Like, just sometimes you get so in your head and you're so laser focused on things that you don't see the big picture.
And you feel safer with someone. I mean, I'm a little lady, so going out to some backwoods place for some terrible story, you just feel better when you know that there's some big guy behind you that's got a camera.
But you've also got to see a lot of the state. I mean, that's
Yes.
the thing about this job is you go
Yes.
everywhere.
Well, and it's become different because when I started at KYT, I think the only one-man band we had, well, you were,
Me
Victor,
and Phil.
and then Phil, who I never saw because he was more bureau.
Yeah.
So we went a lot more places. Now that we have more one-man bands, I don't go as far anymore. I think they tend to send the one-man bands further.
They do.
Yeah.
They send us. They send us out.
You say that with a little bitterness.
No, I'm like Kristen. I enjoy getting out of the newsroom. I think that's one of the things I enjoy so much about my schedule now is that I get to anchor, which I really like, and I'm learning more about that. But I still get out of the newsroom, and that's one of the things you can go a little stir crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a boiler room.
And I'm not from this area, so seeing the state has been really fun, too. Because if you just took Lexington and just reported in here, I mean, it's such a different world than a majority of the state, really.
It's always interesting whenever we have interns or even some people who've worked here who are from Lexington, and I'll ask them about, going to something in Danville or the Red River Gorge or something, and they go, oh, no, I don't know any about that. They'll travel all over the country. As far as traveling within the state, they go, oh, no, I don't know anything about. They pretty much stick to Lexington, Louisville, Cincinnati, and they don't really get out. So it's just kind of interesting, what all there is to offer.
I've noticed that with people who aren't even in the business. I think naturally people that gravitate toward this business are curious and like to explore. And so friends that I have that are outside of the business, they don't go to Danville. They don't go to the Gorge. And to me, it's just, or they don't go to a new restaurant that's open in Lexington, things that I just really enjoy doing.
Like.
Yes, it gets very familiar. And so I have fun teaching these lifelong Kentuckians about places that are just an hour away that they've never gone to.
That was one of my favorite things to do whenever I first started. I would take groups of friends out to the drive-in in Powell County.
I've never been there.
Well, they closed now, so you're not going to
Okay.
go. But that was it.
Ship
We
has
would
sailed.
take a weekend out. We'd go up hiking in the gorge, and then we'd all go to the drive-in and
I love that.
take a cooler. get
I've
some
never
food.
been to a drive-in. I
haven't
want
either,
to.
and I
They keep
too.
closing down. and
Yeah.
it's rough. I'm trying.
There's
to
a
remember.
couple around here, I know, but
there's still one in Bourbon County maybe. Have to figure it out. But yeah, especially you can take the kids. They can run around.
They can be loud
They
and
can be
it's
loud.
okay.
Nobody cares. Because
Yes.
when the movie starts, they all fall asleep because the movie doesn't start till it's dark.
there you go. It's
Kind
awesome.
of perfect now. And now that it's weekends, I can actually go. Hey, we may be planning something.
Ooh.
Are you enjoying weekends off? It's a different world, isn't it?
It's only been 2 weekends so far. 2 weekends. Yes.
Have you taken
Yes,
full
it is.
advantage of those weekends?
No, pretty much I've just slept and been lazy around the house. And I expect that for a little while. We'll eventually, I think this weekend is the first time we're doing something, and that's just we're doing some stuff for my birthday. But no, I mean, it's been real lazy. I take that back. The very first Saturday, we went out to some friend's house for the UK game, the UK-Tennessee game. And it was weird for my wife and I because anytime we're out at night, one of us has to work the next day. Generally, that was always, I was either, okay, we've got to go, or during the week because I was off Thursdays and Fridays, and she's like, well, I've got to work the next day. So it was very odd for us to both just be like, okay, no, we don't.
We can do whatever we
We can
want.
chill. We can take our time. You obviously don't want to stay out too late to keep the little girl up, but yeah, it's interesting. And so you anchored the weekend show for how long?
I anchored weekend mornings for, 6 months to a year, maybe. And then I anchored weekend evenings for 2 years.
Yeah, so
and
you
I
know that.
loved it. I would not have left weekend evenings if not for having Meg. Because we started crunching numbers, and there was no way. Lee K worked weekends at the time, too.
Yeah.
We would have had to pay a nanny to take care of Meg on Saturdays and Sundays for about 10 hours each day. And it just
Well, because it's not like there's a daycare. generally
that's
on the
open
weekends,
at
but-
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's open from 2 in the afternoon to midnight. So that wasn't going to work out, but I really enjoyed it.
I did too. It was
More laid
relied
back.
on you. It was a little more laid back, but also you just had generally the one show you're working towards, so you're able to fit in just kind of the more important stuff. You don't have to spread it out as much.
Yes, and it was really nice because at least with the evenings, especially, you had from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock to work on that newscast. So if I was not writing everything that I read, I was at
went
least
over it.
reading over it and editing it.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, especially, with the mornings, like sometimes you just go in because you can't get in much earlier than you already do.
It is run and gun
Yeah,
in the
it really
mornings.
is.
So tell us about your shift now. You come in.
So I come in and immediately start start working on my hits, I do a studio shot. I do the alert desk. And so I do that at 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30. And then we do a web trending where we gather up the top stories of the day and throw that in. So I have 5 studio hits during the morning show, including and Fox as well. And it's fast. I like that, though. You don't have time to be tired in that morning time. And it's my shift it's kind of broken up into 2 4-hour segments. You've got the first part, which is all shows, and then the second part of the day I'm working on a story.
That was one thing I enjoyed about reporting in the morning. Yeah, you come in and you get your first 4 or 5 hours out of the way. Yeah, you don't have a chance to do anything.
And you're
the
so
day
tired.
is over
That's
so fast.
good.
and then that's the thing. And then you've got your 3 or 4 hours to work on your story after that. But your day just flies by.
It does.
It's not like sometimes, especially in the day side, you're looking for a story and you're just an hour just feels like it's taking forever.
And it's great if you have little kids, because mine, I try to get them to bed around the same time that I would want to go to bed anyway, so it works out.
And I can attest, you do come in and you hit the ground running. It's so funny.
Yeah.
She'll get mic'd up, and they'll randomly open her mics, like during a break, and you are the loudest typer I've ever heard in my
type really
life.
loud.
She bangs on those keys.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really fast. It was so funny the first time it happened, because you and Jim worked together so much during the weekends. You all worked together a lot. And he was like, I already know who that is.
Yep.
He was like, that is Kristen. Like, he can pick out your typing.
I got in trouble in middle school for typing so loud.
Really?
I just hit the keys really hard, I guess.
Yeah.
At least you don't hear me in the bathroom. It could be worse.
Yeah, exactly.
You do
Yeah.
hear me. Well, not like that.
I hear you talking in the bathroom.
Okay, I do talk in the bathroom, but I'm a podcaster, obviously, so I'm always listening to a podcast in the bathroom.
And you don't use headphones. So
and I talk on my phone
you just
in the
have
bathroom.
it blaring.
And I always have it on speakerphone.
Sometimes there's wait, don't tell
I'm
me spoilers.
so annoying.
Are you just now figuring this out?
It's all coming to light
I feel like
now.
self-awareness is something in this business that a lot of us just don't have.
Probably
so
not.
It's nice whenever.
I will say, I have a confession. I was so intimidated by you when I first
Me?
started. Yes, so intimidated. Just because, I'm a loud person and you're more reserved and quiet. And I was like, she hates me.
She's no nonsense. That's the thing.
I know, and
I am
love
no
it.
nonsense.
I love it.
I try to keep work, and I hit the ground running, and I have no time for chit chat.
I was gonna say, Kristen's not much for small talk. If she doesn't want to
No.
talk to you, she'll let you know.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Which is nice. I appreciate. And it's like there have been times when I've been over talking to Kristen, and she's like engaged for about a minute and a half. She's like, okay, this is interesting, and then I can just tell.
I'm
Well, I
done.
I just go, okay, cool, good talk, and it's like, you know what? I appreciate that.
But there are parts about that where I wish, I didn't take some stories so seriously, because I will. I no time for chit chat. If I'm working on a story and I want to make it really good,
Well, it's good to have that balance, because I think I am
I need
obviously.
more of that
yeah,
in my life.
I think both of us are probably at the other end of that, and we could probably use a little more dialing the other way. So
Right.
it's nice to have that mix. In the
Oh,
newsroom.
I will sit and talk to people. I know Dean Handy, who I love. He always loves coming to my edit bay when I'm working on a story and getting into a long drawn out story, which I'm so engaged in. And to my own detriment, I'll sit there and listen, and then I have 2 minutes to send my story up and get it done. But I don't have that kind of what's the word? I don't
Reserve?
Work ethic.
not work ethic. That's not what I meant. I meant
Kristen has a very good work ethic. That's what you're.
okay, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's the word. That's what you're thinking.
I could probably work on being nicer, though.
No. You are nice. You're never
No,
mean.
that's the thing. You're
Never
there's
mean.
a different, and we have talked about this before privately. I would rather someone be kind than nice. You are a kind person.
Yes.
I don't know if you're a nice person.
Interesting.
You are a good person. You've got a kind heart. You help people. You just don't have time to be fake nice.
That's
And
true.
I
have
appreciate that.
I have no time for
Yeah.
fake. I would rather you just be unapologetically yourself to me
There
than
you
you
go.
pretend to be someone else.
And so that's what I've talked about before. I would rather people be kind. I will take kind, because I've had people be nice to me, but I can tell they're not really.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, and you're just that's the thing. You just go, oh, I don't want to be around this person.
When they're nice, and then you find out they've been saying things behind your back.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I can tell you never have to worry about that with Kristen.
I believe that.
That's true. I will be very blunt with you, and if I have a problem, I usually tell
Noah
you.
and Kelsey were both scared of you too. They said that on their podcast. I don't know if you've gotten that far, but they were both scared of you at
Their
first. But
podcast
they
is kind of a hot
love
mess.
you now.
Oh, good.
And I do too. We've all come around. You're just intimidating. You're intimidating,
Which I think
Kristen.
is hilarious.
I
Do
do
you
too, that's
enjoy
fine.
that? Do you like people being like,
No,
oh,
I
I'm
don't like
intimidated by
that.
you?
Growing up, I was painfully shy,
Really?
and people took that as me being a mean girl, and it was hurtful. You know, when they say, "Oh, watch out for those quiet ones." Like, no, just be
Aw.
my friend.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Is Meg like that?
No, Meg is very loud.
Very loud. Okay.
She is, and she's unfiltered, and it's wonderful.
She's so cute.
She is.
Oh, I
She's
love
very
that
cute.
girl.
All right, well, I think we're wrapping up our time here.
This wasn't as bad as I
See?
thought.
That's what
know,
everyone has said. They all come in scared. By
Yeah.
the end, they're like, oh, this is fun. We just talked.
I know. That's all
Yeah.
it is. And that's conversations. That's
You
what
guys
we
are
wanna
very
do.
good at conversations.
Thanks.
Thank
We've done it once or
you.
twice. That's pretty much, I feel like that's the only thing I'm really good at is talking to people.
And games.
Oh, no, I'm not that good. I have a lot of games. Doesn't mean I'm good at them.
Okay.
See, I could not do this because I have no time for chit chat.
There you go.
She's like,
I would
have
be
to go
terrible
now.
at
I'm
it.
done with you both.
She'd be like, welcome to the Kristen Kennedy podcast. I understand you work here? Yes. All right, good. All right, see you all later.
And here are my 5 questions that I've written down, and yes, I would be done.
Come on, any questions?
That's all right.
That's all right.
I like
Okay.
it to just
Is there
flow
anything else you
naturally.
feel like we should
There was one thing I
get
did
into?
want to
Oh.
ask. I remember kind of recently, relatively recently, you were asked to come back to your college and give a speech. I don't know. I think you got an award.
I did a top 10 under 10, so
Yeah.
a top 10 alumni under 10 years.
That's so cool. And did you give a speech? What was the whole process?
I did, but I just talked about how I did a live shot from a bathroom. It was,
What?
you're trying to get that college reel together, and I thought a bathroom would be creative, and it wasn't.
And it wasn't.
Lesson learned, and it was the men's bathroom too.
Nice. We
Yeah.
all got those awkward college resume tapes.
Oh, that would be a great thing if we all still had those and
Ooh, I still
posted
got mine. We
those.
could all put them
Oh,
on.
resumes. I think I
Yeah.
found mine maybe a year or so ago. And it is embarrassing because you think you're so good.
you're
You're like,
just-
I got
yeah.
this down. And
I knew I was bad, and I was.
Mine for Madison County Cable News. I'm sure it's.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Well,
Well, thanks,
I like
guys.
that story. Thank you, Kristen.
So there it was. I enjoyed that.
I did too. And everybody seemed so relieved at the end.
Yeah, I know. They always come into it like, oh my goodness, what are you all going to do? So we're just going to talk. It's chill.
Like, we don't know.
Yeah. Although I would like to clarify. I said that Kristen was kind but not nice. She is nice. I just think her kindness is her overwhelming thing. For me, nice is like a surface level thing, whereas kindness
We
is
had a
deep.
big
People are
discussion
kind.
after
we have, You and I
this.
have had, yeah.
I just think that's interesting the way that you, because Kristen said, I thought those were synonymous. Like, isn't that the same thing? What do you mean I'm not nice?
I know some people who are nice, but it's just, it's on the surface. whereas
I
she is-
totally get what you're saying.
If she likes you, you know it, and she's
Yeah.
genuine, and so I appreciate that about her.
It's almost like people are nice for themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
you're kind, that's different. You're nice because you want to make a good impression, not because you care about the other people's feelings.
And we didn't even get into her volunteer work. I mean, she does stuff to help
I
other
know,
people.
and that,
she's-
it kills me. Maybe we should write
maybe
things
you should write down notes, yeah.
Because that was something I did want to talk about. She does a lot of volunteer work, and it seems like a lot of the stories I go to, they're just like, oh,
yeah,
Kristen
yeah.
was on our board. Kristen has done
So
this for
you
us
just
before.
Think
So
about the time she gives to other people,
kind.
Yes.
She's a kind
Kind.
person.
which is good considering we could use more kindness in the newsroom, unlike all these meanies like me and you.
Oh, yeah.
So this week, if you've listened to this, our Oscar podcast came out already, but we don't know the winners yet. That will happen.
You will when this comes out.
Yes,
but
when
we
you
don't
listen to this,
as we're taping
that
this.
will have happened. I did, listening back to one of our other ones, I remembered I mentioned the Royal Rumble. Finn Balor did not win.
Oh, no.
over
Was that your
Brock
guess?
Lesnar. No, I knew he wouldn't, but I was real sad about that.
Did you see that Chris Hemsworth is
I
going?
did.
Okay, is
let's
going
talk
to
about this
play
for a moment.
Hulk Hogan. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's a great casting choice.
Really?
I think they're only focusing on the period of his life near WrestleMania, and they're going to stay away from the portion where he fought Gawker and where he said a bunch of horribly racist stuff.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody, where
Here's
they
what's funny.
sugarcoat a bunch of stuff.
This is
and
not the
then-
first time we've talked about the Hulk
About
Hogan
Hulk Hogan.
controversy,
Yes.
and I have yet to look up what it is, so I
Oh.
still don't know
All
what you're
right,
talking
well, I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
How
the
has
point
this
is,
come up
he's-
twice?
And I think part of it is that he is involved, so it may be a very glossy look at his life. And it's very complicated feelings for me because growing up, I was a huge Hulkamaniac. Mm-hmm. I wrote to him a letter
Aw.
whenever Earthquake stomped on him, set on him, and sent him into the
How old
hospital.
were you?
That's probably 6 or 7.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be
He's like
16.
15.
Well, You were like, I took my little brother to WrestleMania the other day. He's 25.
It wasn't WrestleMania. It was a WWE live show.
Excuse me.
You know what? If you grow out of things, then what's the point of growing old? So anyway, yes, when Earthquake squashed him, I was sad. I wrote him a letter. He sent me a postcard back. So then later on, when it came out that he had some not so nice thoughts,
Broke your heart.
I think, but that's something we've dealt with a lot of recently is people finding out that their heroes are sometimes horrible people.
Yeah.
You see people defending Bill Cosby, and it's just
Charlie Rose
come on, buddy,
in our industry.
yeah,
it's just
exactly.
Like, what is
Charlie Rose
this?
was, just a huge, all these people that you have respect for, and then you find out. So I think and I think a lot of it is people put it on themselves. They go, oh, well, I like this person. If it turns out that they're not a good person, what is that saying about me? And it's not saying anything about you. You can let it. You can realize that just because you liked someone doesn't mean that they can't do horrible things.
It was ignorance. You did not know that aspect of them.
Exactly. It's different.
It's not your fault.
Once you know that they did this horrible thing, if you then say, "Oh, but I still like this person," well then
we have a problem.
Yeah. let's take about 20% off there, buddy.
There you go.
Okay, so that's what we've got going on. So, are you excited about Chris Hemsworth as Hulk Hogan?
I mean, I'm always excited about Chris Hemsworth.
All right, maybe we shouldn't get into that too much.
I didn't. When we saw it this morning during one of our entertainment stories, I was just like, what? But who else are you going to get? Honestly, there's not a lot of people that I look at and I'm like, ooh, Hulk Hogan.
Who are, a good actor.
He can do it.
Able to be funny.
He can do it. Did you know he was on Dancing with the Stars in Australia?
In Australia. I knew he was a big Australian celebrity.
Yeah. And that was like one of his first things. I think he was on a soap opera. So he wasn't even really that famous when he was on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, if you look at the people who are on Dancing with the Stars here now, they're not really that famous. I mean, it's
true.
Anyway.
There's a lot of big fans. I found that out one time. I was working at a station that was an ABC affiliate, and Storm coverage cut into Dancing with the Stars.
Ooh.
The uproar. They have some of the most devoted fans.
I have been in the newsroom here before when I used to work nights, whenever Storm coverage would cut into Survivor.
Oh.
And that was rough, let me tell you. People
I know.
would not be happy that, Chris was trying to keep people safe.
I know. I mean, really. But I mean, there are people getting mad. I'm a big Bachelorette fan, and like when President Trump broke into the Bachelor, they were just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, he's the president.
He's the president, yeah.
He kind of takes priority over everybody, even the Bachelor.
All right. Well, Andrea, I'm trying to think about our recommendations for this week. Have you thought of anything that you would like to? You're just not going to?
Nope.
All right, cool. I am going to recommend a sandwich I had recently.
Sandwiches.
They're
amazing.
Wait, let me see if it was Rafferty's or Ramsey's. I always forget.
I'm pulling for Ramsey's.
Did you have skin in the game?
I worked there for years.
I believe it. Yes, I believe it was Ramsey's.
What's the name of the burger? Do you know?
It's their turkey Reuben.
Oh, Ramsey's for sure.
Okay.
Purple Kraut.
Do they all wear ties?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So yes, Ramsey's. That's the one I was thinking of.
It is really good. I think I've had everything on that menu.
So the turkey Reuben. It's got the purple sauerkraut, which Marika's, the German restaurant here in town. That's one of my favorite things there. Is whenever I'll get my meal, I get a side of the purple cabbage, and it's delicious. It's kind of sour. I like it a lot better than regular sauerkraut, even though it may just be a color thing. I don't know. But so the turkey Reuben at Ramsey's has that purple sauerkraut on it.
All right. Well, if we're going to talk about food,
So that's my recommendation this week.
I can think of something. Of course, mine's again alcohol related.
Okay.
This is not my first time. I'm starting to get concerned.
You might have a problem.
I don't think
check on that later.
I'm kidding. I don't have a problem. But Blue Moon Mango, so good. I think it's one of their kind of limited time.
Oh, the beer Blue Moon.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what else would it be?
I don't know. I didn't know Blue Moon was
Mango?
like a. Okay.
So I bought the last 2 cases of it at Kroger in Brandon Crossing.
So the point is, if you want some, you can't.
It's gone. Because I've been looking for it. Like, I look for it anytime I'm anywhere just because it's kind of like my favorite beer right now. Because usually I have one and I'm good. And I don't need the extra calories.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I was like, I guess it's over. That might have been like a seasonal thing. But
well, there we go.
If it is.
Go get your Blue Moon. Get your turkey Reuben. Everybody have a good day.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
There you go.